Hello, everybody. I hope all is well. I am Demetra Kaye of the Demetra Kaye Show right here on YouTube, where you can catch me usually from Sunday through Wednesday, 5 p.m. Central Time. Of course, it is my pleasure to be here on the African Diaspora News Channel with you. So I should also say that we're going to be talking about a Latina slamming her own people for allowing Black voters in California to outvote her people. Of course, we're going to get into all of that. But also, how it works here is I'll speak for the first 15 minutes or so. And then after that, I'll spend the time with you in the comment section, addressing your comments, questions, or concerns. Whatever it is that you want to talk about, preferably about the topic, but sometimes we venture to other places and that's okay. I'm here for it all. But while we wait for everybody to come on here, we have an app, the African Diaspora News Channel app that you can get on your Play Store from your phone. Of course, that app is made for us by us because we need to start having our own things, right? We need to have our own media outlets that we can disseminate information to you all the way we want to give it to you. I know a lot of times when you see our people on the news, right, mainstream media, they got to kind of button up a little bit and, water it down. But on our own platforms, we can say it how we want to say it. Can y'all imagine me being on a channel 4 News, Channel 7, ABC, NBC? They wouldn't have me on there, right? Because I'm not that buttoned up usually. So on our own apps, we can say it how we want to say it, when we want to say it, right? So if you can go over there, get that app. If you haven't already, please and thank you. And for those of y'all who have it, much appreciated. And spread the word. And listen, if y'all gonna spend some money for Christmas, I'm not telling you to do it because I don't do Christmas. But if you absolutely got to do it, go to your Play Store or somebody else's Play Store and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to gift you the African Diaspora News Channel app for a whole year, right? Merry Christmas, Kwanzaa, and everything in between. Anyway, let's see who we have on here before we get started. I have Extreme X, and of course, I will read your comments after I'm done. How you doing, Charmaine? What's going on with you? Letisa, how you doing? Troy, Mike, nice in the building. Sister Shirley, hope you're doing well. Brother Buck Horse, how are you? Rick, how are you doing? Fresh air, hope you're having a great day. Laura, what's going on with you? That's all I see so far. So yeah, the weather is cooling off a little bit here. I'm in Texas, California girl in Texas. And it's finally cooling off, but it sounds like it'll be hot again tomorrow. I don't know. It's very bipolar. Anyway, to a USA or US, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Okay, anyway, let's go ahead and get into it for the sake of time. So of course you guys know that last week throughout the United States there were a whole host of elections. It's not a midterm election, it's kind of like an off season type of thing. Well, there were a lot of elections, whether it was a governor like Virginia, mayor in New York. Of course, you guys are hearing a lot about that, New York City rather. And then, of course, in California, they had what they call Proposition 50. Now, that proposition came about due to what happened here in Texas. Of course, you guys may have heard about Trump disseminating orders to a lot of Republicans, specifically that in Texas, Governor Greg Abbott was told, hey, we need y'all to get some of those seats, right? So take some seats from the Democrats. So kind of redraw the districts, the congressional district and all that. Because we don't want to get it handed to us, for lack of better words. I'm in 2026. So Greg Abbott said, okay, bet I'll be your Huckleberry. So yeah, they pretty much took the seats. Now, I guess it has to go through some sort of formalities like through, voting and things like that. But it sounds like they will be successful in taking Democrat seats, which they have said benefits, is what they're saying, right? Black and brown communities. And so then Governor Gavin Newsom of California was like, well, I'll be your Huckleberry too. But we won't just take the seats or the districts, rather, we'll put it up for a vote, Proposition 50. And so with that, we'll let the people to decide. So the people decided overwhelmingly, yes, we want to take 5 seats from the Republicans to kind of balance it out from what Texas did. And so again, it did pass. Okay. Now with most elections, they break it down. Who did what? How did they vote? And things like that. Well, a Latina, she's taking her people to task because of this. Check it out.
So I'm looking at some tea right here, the exit polls for the Prop 50 proposition. I'm really focused on the Latino vote right here. After all we've seen happening with ICE in California, we should be on the level with the black voters, guys. And this is all across the board. I was looking at other races, and it's like 60 something percent Latino voter voted for Democrats. And guys, by the midterms, we need to do better. We need to do better. This is not okay.
All right. So y'all saw and heard it from her. Let me remove her. So again, she's more or less like, hey, my peoples, what are we doing? Right now, I'm going to put this back up. This is what she's talking about. So it says all races, Proposition 50, congressional redistricting. So you can see the demographics as far as race as to who did what. And so, yes, black folks in California, 91% for Proposition 50, which means we're going to take some of those seats from the Republicans and give it to the Democrats, I guess. 91% Hispanics, yes, to the tune of 71%. So 20% less. And then y'all can see the other races, but let's stay with the Latino and the black vote there. So, of course, if you guys were not paying attention over the summer, ICE, that is headed by Tom Homan. They call him the border czar, I guess, under the Trump administration. They went into California, and yes, they gaffled up a whole bunch of people at the Home Depot. That's kind of like where it sounded like it started, because the Hispanics, Latinos, they be at Home Depot trying to get work, right? So I guess ICE ran up on one Home Depot, and then it just kind of went off from there. And I just happened to be in California visiting my family when that took place. So I attended one of the rallies just from a journalistic point of view. And I'm going to tell you, it was all the conversation. It was all the rave. Y'all saw all of the videos of ICE going in there, just going ham on a lot of people. Of course, y'all saw, especially in Los Angeles, Mayor Karen Bass, who is, a black woman, was romping and stomping for the Latino community, trying to run ICE off and get out of here. How dare you? So they people was really going through it right now. I know ICE is deporting people from all over the world, but specifically in there in California, there's a large Hispanic population, and there's a large illegal immigrant population that seems to be mostly Hispanics. Now, I would venture to say that most Latinos in California are there legally, right? But there's a lot that wasn't. So it seems like that community was targeted the most. Now, of course, y'all heard from a lot of them, where's the blacks? What about the blacks? Because we just learned to sit down for a whole host of reasons. If you are mad that Kamala did not win, 92%, right? That's what they say. They call the black women, and I'm pointing at myself like I voted for Kamala, I didn't. But the black women that voted for Kamala was to the tune of 92%, the black men 78%. So those people are like, well, we're just not going to do nothing. We're resting. We're going to let everybody else do it. And of course, those who sat on the couch or voted for Trump, Black Americans, or whatever it is, it's like, yeah, we're not going to get involved in none of that. That ain't got nothing to do with us, right? Because when our building is on fire, it's burning, nobody comes with their water hose to put it out. They watch it burn and say, well, that's not our problem. So black people's like, yeah, we're going to sit down and mind our business and do the things that we're supposed to do. So to her point, she said, hey, Latinos, y'all need to level up. Y'all still allowed there in California the black vote to outvote you. The Hispanic population in California is way larger than the black population in California. The black population, I believe, is less than 6%. I don't know. The Hispanic population is probably 50 or more. Don't quote me, but it's probably pretty close. So how is it that the black community outvoted the Latino community, especially the summer wasn't that long ago. The summer was a couple of months ago, and we all saw it unfold. It was just mayhem, right? People going to jail. It was smoke bombs. It was a whole lot of stuff, and ICE was really gaffling them up. And yet, they should have been out there 100% voting for the redistricting. You know why? Because California, nothing in California will benefit black people at all. Some of y'all probably saying, well, how so, Demetra? Well, we could go to the California Legislative Black Caucus. Y'all know what they did last year. I know what you did last summer, right? Last year, they were supposed to take those reparation bills to the floor. They didn't. They had all those black Californians out there. Yeah, we're gonna find out if we're getting reparations. Now remember, since 2020, they had a study, a commission, right? They in California, they were trying to cross all the T's and dot the I's and figure out who and what was getting reparations. All right, sounds like it might be a go. Well, of course, infamously, we saw that of Assemblyman Isaac Bryan with his arms crossed, trying to block Bill Esselstyn, who was like, wait a minute, now he's a Republican, right? Bill Esselstyn, what are y'all doing? All these black people out there trying to, what are they doing? So he goes out there to ask him, what's going on? Oh, we're hoping that, they're going to pass reparations. He's like, ain't no reparations bills on the floor. So then he goes back in there, and so he starts recording and asking Isaac Bryan and all them, and they got mad because they got caught. So to that, even the black politicians weren't and still are not interested in doing anything for black Americans there in California. So when you think about Proposition 50, because it's the Democrats, let's keep it a buck. So they're going to take 5 seats from the Republicans and give it to the Democrats to do what in California? To do more for everybody else and more of nothing for black people and black Americans specifically in California. That's just the way it is. That's the way it will be. So when you see something like this, and from a black, I'm a Californian, okay? I don't care where I live. I'm always going to be a Californian. So when I see something like that, I'm like, black people, did you keep in mind? I get the whole thing Texas is doing, but did you think that taking 5 Republican seats from the Democrats was going to be a net benefit to you? Even to the tune of you voted more for that proposition than anybody on here. Did you think that was going to be a net benefit? Or did you even stop to think, okay, yeah, I'm going to vote to take 5 seats from the Republicans, but by me doing that, isn't that going to help everybody else more, including illegal immigrants? Because we know up until recently, Governor Gavin Newsom was on board with spending $2.6 billion for, as they say, undocumented immigrant, no matter what your status was, for health care. $2.6 billion a year is what they were going to allocate to that. Wow, they didn't even tell at the time. They didn't even tell black Americans no for the reparations. They just didn't even put it on the floor to be voted on. Right? They didn't even do it. Now, recently, Gavin Newsom vetoed all of those reparations bills. No, that's okay. It wasn't no money on it, right? It still had others included in it, so it wasn't really for us anyway. But none of that. The Proposition 50 is not going to benefit black people. But to her point, Hispanics, Latinos, that will benefit you, right? You got 5 more Democrat seats that'll sit there and say, oh, what's wrong? That they're getting deported. And you wouldn't even show up 100% to fight for you. Well, part of that is a lot of Latinos, I don't know how to say, especially in California, they don't even like themselves, right? Because they have that attitude. Well, I'm a special, Latino, whatever the case is, right? They don't really cut for their people like that. And I'm not saying they should cut for illegal immigration. I'm not saying that, but just to see your people treated the way they was being treated, you think they show up 100%. But the other part of that is they're used to black people showing up. And if you think I'm lying, you can see the numbers right there. They're used to us showing up no matter what. They put out the back signal, whatever it is, and black people go running, right? We put on a back cape and we go save everybody else, but we don't save ourselves. So a lot of those people like, well, let the blacks do it. The blacks, they're the Democrat. They gonna vote blue no matter who, because they mama and they daddy and everybody else is voting. So we'll benefit from what the black folks do. That's why I think they don't show up as well. So when we wake up and say, hey, what's in it for me? This whole little Proposition 50 thing, because I seen what the California Legislative Black Caucus did. I see what everybody else does in regards to black people. They don't do anything. I see what Karen Bass is doing out there in Los Angeles. She's romping and stomping for the illegal immigrants, but nothing for black people at all. In fact, I don't ever hear her even talk about black people, right? So again, why is I, as a black American, why should I show up to vote for something that's not going to benefit me? Doesn't prove that it's ever benefited me. The districts y'all got now don't benefit me. So why would I give you 5 more to do more of nothing for me? And again, any Latinos out there watching, to her point, what's wrong with you? See, some tell me a lot of y'all are okay with what they're doing to y'all people. I can't speak for y'all people. You're okay with it, or either you don't care, or you lazy, whatever it is. But man, if I saw my people getting done like that, I think I would rise to the challenge. But I wouldn't let another group of people outvote me on an issue that I think is important to me and my people. So again, we keep showing up for them. They won't show up for them. But the other problem is just bringing it back home. When we gonna show up for us? That's the question. So anyway, I'm gonna see what y'all got to say. Remove that. Get into the comment section. Hope you all are doing well. Let's see. Where did I leave off? Okay, let me go back to your comment, Extreme. It says, so Trump has been in office. These Hispanics and especially Black immigrants are really showing you who they are. Yeah, you know, and I say this, and please, you can do what you want to do. It's not you, Extreme. I'm just saying in general, one of the good things, I say one very loosely, I guess, or I don't know, good things about the Trump administration is that everybody could get it. Everybody could get it, and everybody is being exposed. Everybody is. We knew that the Hispanic community, you know, are we friends with them? Yeah, I got a lot of Hispanic friends in California. I'm Californian, just kind of the nature of how it is, right? But overall, as a community, they don't cut for Black people, you know. So we kind of, and a lot of us already knew how they feel about us. But man, y'all got it handed to you this summer, and y'all won't show up 100%. I don't know, but why did we nearly 100%? That's the question, right? Charmaine, I hope you saw how that was possible. I know your comment was pretty much first, but let's see. Extreme also says, by default, you better be glad Trump won. They're trying to bury the Black community with immigrants. But as you saw there, hey, let me put it right back up there just for a hot second. We helping them do it. We're helping them do it. You know what I'm saying? The Democrats couldn't do what they're doing unless we help them do it. See, that's the conversation I'll be liking to have. I get all that, you know, Democrat Party, even Republican Party, but doggone it, we keep helping the Democrats do it to us. So when we going to have that conversation about what we helping them do to us? It has to be had eventually, you know? So yeah, they're trying to bury us, but we're like, here, do you want us to give you the dirt or the shovel? I don't know. So yeah. Glocktavius, you know what? I really do like that name, but how you doing? This is California Black population, 2.7 million Blacks, one race, 2.2 million. And then I think maybe your comment cut off. I'm not quite sure what you're saying, but yeah, it's less than 2%, you know. So especially there, Black Californians are going to keep on voting themselves right into oblivion. It's almost that now, you know. A lot of Black Californians have left. It's not affordable to live in California anymore. You know, our little communities and neighborhoods, they're starting to disappear even more so, right? Used to be a lot of places in California, especially LA, where there was just Black communities, and now it's just few far and in between type of thing, you know? So yeah. Christopher, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see who else. And Gloria, you say you live in California. Do tell. Like I said, I'm born and raised in California, born in Northern California, raised in Southern California. So yeah, I love California. I'd love to go back, but every time I go back to visit, I'm like, it's just unrecognizable. You know, it's like, man, it just don't look the same. It don't feel the same type of thing, because I rarely even see our people there. And to be told, I don't really see a whole lot of white people. Maybe just kind of the places that I go, I know where they be at in Southern California, but I don't necessarily be in those areas. But yeah, you largely see Hispanics, and that's okay. But you rarely see our people there. Our people have said that we are more so in the South of the United States, like we were when we left the plantations. And I don't have a problem with the South at all. I mean, South is affordable to live here. It just ain't California, though. You know, if you've lived there, then you know. I know a lot of people like, oh, California ain't all that. Yeah, you live there. Where I live, you know, less than an hour from the beaches. You know, 3 hours from Vegas, hour less, you know, from the mountains, and all of that. It's just like so much to do there. So it's like, you know, I miss it. I wish I could, you know, afford to live there. I'm speaking into existence. One day I'm gonna go back. Let's see. What question says, I don't know what that means, but you says ain't nothing new. Okay, the rest of that I understood. Extremely says, you people voted for Kamala. You almost buried us. Yeah, I think that would have. I totally agree with that. A lot of times you hear, especially now, people saying, "Oh, you should have voted for Kamala. We told you. We tried to tell you. Oh, if you just didn't want to vote for the black lady." It's like, well, what was the black lady gonna do? What was she gonna do? She already told us, "I'm not gonna do nothing just to benefit black people." No, she already told us that. So I'm one of those people, because I don't like to repeat myself either. She had already told us what she was gonna not do for us. So how was she gonna make life better for us? Now, I told you I'm reading her book. I'm kind of reading it slow, and I haven't gotten to the point of where, I mean, she talks about being black a lot, being raised black and all this stuff, but I haven't heard her to the point that I'm at talk about what she was going to do for black people. I haven't heard that part yet. So, Kamala's presidency was not going to be a net benefit for black people at all. It wasn't. She's very pro-immigration, very pro-deletion of babies, very pro a whole lot of things that is not beneficial to black people. So even though a lot of people don't like what we see now going on, Kamala really wasn't going to be that much different. I promise you. She was not going to be that much different. What she was going to do for a lot of people, especially us as Black Americans, is rock us to sleep. I call it the night quail for Negroes, right? We're going to get the night quail for Negroes. There. Everything's good now. Go to sleep. Shh. Go to sleep. Everything's good. That's what we were going to get. And we were going to be in a delusional. Oh, that was close. Trump almost got back in office. And that's where we were going to be, just rock to sleep, So yeah, Gloria says, if it's not meant to be, then it won't work. Keep watching, okay? Let's see. Fresh Air says pro reparations is pro us. Yeah, well, those black politicians in California who did that. Wasn't no white ones, wasn't Hispanics, wasn't Asians. It was black politicians in California that spoke for the rest of black Californians that you don't deserve reparations. In fact, you don't even deserve for us to take it to Big Daddy to have him vote on it, to pass it or to veto it. Y'all don't deserve that. And they said, well, we've decided that it's a multi-year study. It's like, ain't that what you just did? What was y'all doing for 4 years? With millions of dollars, mind you. They wasn't doing it for free. So what was you doing on this commission? Wasn't you studying? So what else do you need to study? What else do you need to know about black Americans, especially in California, need reparation? I know. Some people say, oh, well, California wasn't a slave state. It was complicit. It allowed it. It adhered to the Fugitive Act. It did a whole lot of redlining and gerrymandering and, Jim Crow stuff. California is very racist. Don't let the sunshine and the surfing and the, hey, we're just kind of hanging out type of vibes fool you. It's very racist. It's covert, but it's racist. Like I said, I'm a Californian and I've been in California most of my life. Okay. Sans a couple of years, but I'm 54 years old. And I've been in California probably, say 49 years, okay? 49 years. And most of the racism that I've experienced was in California. Yeah. So yeah, there's a need for reparations to Black Americans in every state. Believe it or not. JJ, how you doing? It says no critical thinking skills or abilities. Yeah, we need that. Y'all know I'm big on critical thinking. I am very big. Emotions are cool, but emotions, they serve a purpose temporarily. Emotions really don't get you anywhere in the long term. You got to be here, logical. That's long term. Emotions are it feels good. Oh yes, it's nice, or whatever it is. But after a while, like I could have had a V8. Let's see. Sister Shirley says, I'm so tired of our people vote the way they vote. It gives me a headache. We got to unlearn that, which is why we got to continue to have these conversations, right? Again, and I did a video. It's not out yet. It will be next week, but we got to start asking the why and how. Why should I continue to vote for that? And don't tell me your mama, your daddy, your grandma, your bald-headed don't tell me that. Why? What's in it for you to keep voting that way? I don't know. Never thought of it that way. I just, because my mama and them be doing it. Well, how's it worked out for your mama and them? I guess it hasn't, right? So we got to keep having these conversations. Otherwise, we'll just keep, again, we're like that Frankenstein. That when y'all see me do that, that means Frankenstein. I guess that's what Frankenstein does. Frankenstein, he's pieced together and kind of told what to do. What, in a sense, maybe we should become Frankenstein. Now that I think about it, because after a while, Frankenstein's like, no, I ain't going to be doing all that. And he went rogue, right? Frankenstein went rogue and he's like, I'm going to do what I want to do. So yeah, but yeah, we got to start thinking for ourselves. Just kind of thinking about Frankenstein. That's Eugene, how you doing? Says we FBA are leaders of humanity, quote unquote. Sometimes they just want us to serve, no respect. Yeah, so leaders of humanity, I get that. I would say that we are very humanitarian. We just not very humanitarian to ourselves. We're not. I think it was Mother Teresa who said, just thinking about that, the best way to help the poor is not to become one. We don't need to become poor, but you become poor when you give away all your resources. When you give everything away that will help you, you become poor. You start to lack. So it's one thing to help everybody else once you've gotten yourself together. But we as Black Americans, we don't have ourselves together just yet. But we are still, like I said, they throw out the bat signal and here we come running. Let's do it. Especially that whole thing of the Black woman is the backbone of the Democrat Party. When I hear that, I hear the Black woman is good with that little, thank you, gal. You did a good job. Oh, yes, it'll pat on the head, right? To pat you on the old gal, you did a great job for the Democrats. Yes, that's a mighty fine job you've done there. And emotionally, I guess that feels good. Oh gosh, yes, I just saved the day. Yes, I did. Look at that. Us Black women, we the backbone of the Democratic Party. Emotions. Logically speaking, you the backbone of the Democratic Party. What do you and your people get from that? A pat on the head? Can you eat the pat on the head? Can you go to the light company with the pat on the head? No. So you're not necessarily the backbone. You're the kind of the tailbone, and y'all can do what y'all want with that. That's what you are. Because the backbone, yeah, it's strong, but it's strong for you and your people first. So I don't know. I always found that to be nonsensical when I hear sisters running around talking about we the backbone of the Democratic Party. Don't never tell nobody that again. Because when I hear that, I'm like, you fool. For the Democrat Party, that's not for your people. Anyway, Primo, how you doing? It says, I don't see how that is true. I live right in Anaheim, California, and there are way more Mexicans out there than Black people. Facts. I know that. So how is it? So somebody lying, somebody fudging the numbers. They could be, and I don't know. They might be, but I'm with you. How could that be? That they didn't vote to the 2 or at least more than the Black voters? How's that possible? Stock, how you doing? Says thousands of us have left the country altogether. That is true. I ain't there to leaving the country yet, although I'm not against it. But yeah, a lot of people have. But if you leave in California because you can't afford it, I mean, maybe you're leaving to other countries because it's a lot cheaper, but something tells me you're probably not doing that. You're probably moving somewhere else like the South where it's a little bit more on the affordable side. I'm thinking. Let's see. JJ says, like I said, no thinking skills. Yeah, we got to start thinking. I promise you, when we start thinking, life is going to look a lot different. It really is. It's gonna be mind-blowing. It really is. Jackie, how you doing? He says, you're about one ignorant ass person. I forgot what channel I'm on. I'm not on my channel. Honorable Elijah Muhammad says you got to think 5 times before you speak. Yeah. You come to my channel and say that I have something for you, but I can't really do that. But because on my channel, I might have said something like your mama, but I'm not on my channel, so I can't do that. L, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Aboriginal Norman, how you doing? He says, the Triple K, California. Oh, yes, indeed. Shamaj, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says, yes, born in California, and I experience racism every day in Los Angeles. Yeah. I don't know why people think California is not racist. I got stories for y'all. I could write a book on racism in California, and it'd be a big book. The largest book that I ever read was It by Stephen King. I was a Stephen King fan. I read it in high school because I went to summer school. My mom and dad made me and my siblings go to summer school, whether we needed it or not. We didn't need to go, but they was like, you go to summer school. So when I was a senior, I didn't even really have to go. So I just kind of took these little classes here and there. One of them was a reading class. And so I said, okay, let me find a book that I'm interested in. And I picked up It. Almost 1,200 pages. That's the largest book I've ever read in my life. But the book that I would write on racism, I'm sure it'd be double that. Racism in California. How about that? So yeah. Then Aboriginal, you say, I'm sorry, I said Aboriginal abnormal. It says nothing. Northern California has the AB. Was that the gang members, the Asian gangs? Buckhorst says, he says, I ain't back to no plant. You ain't going back to no plantation. I hope not. Daniel, how you doing? Says, great job, California. Don't let Texas screw up the rest of the country. When they go low, go lower. Okay. He says, it's about time to them showed some things down there. Yeah. I'm not opposed to the idea. I think that's a good strategy. If you're thinking about strategy, I think it's a good strategy. But, as Black Americans, we got to say, okay, well, what's in it for us? With them, right? What's in it for me? With them. That's what that means. What's in it for me? Zenobia, how you doing? Says, hey, y'all. Sister Demetra Kaye, you are so right. Kamala was going to keep us asleep. This orange dude is waking up everybody. They mad at him about that H-1B visa. Did a video about that. It ain't out yet. Oh, yeah, they mad. When I say mad, they MAGA, especially MAGA, they mad. How dare he? Trump is like, everybody can get it. You ain't special. Just keep buying these, Trump watches and shoes and all this other stuff, Trump phones. Y'all keep buying all that stuff. Y'all let me worry about what I'm going to do up in this country and who going to come over here. So, yeah. All right, so let's see. Let me skip down a little bit so I could catch up, and then let's see how far. Oh yeah, I got to catch up. Who haven't I seen? Fire back. How you doing? Hope you're doing well. Sister Shirley says, if you resist, really, i.e., you deny, fight, you lose every time because your internal stance doesn't change the facts. That is absolutely true. Prime One, how you doing? Says, y'all keep playing with these white supremacists. Who is this y'all? I don't play with none of them. And I did a video. I don't know if it's out yet because I've been doing so many videos. I think it's coming out this week. And my summation is that white supremacy hates white people too. You'll see it when it come out. White supremacy hates white people too. And they're learning that. Black Rose, how you doing? Says TPS for Venezuela. Just ended so temporary protected status. Surprised it didn't end sooner, right? Lance, how you doing? Says Dr. Claude Anderson warned us on the negative impact of immigration towards the Black community. Absolutely. And here we are. Still doing it. Black Rose says Karen Bass is a prime example of why not to place an immigrant in government positions. So yeah, I'm not too sure of her background, but I keep hearing she's not Black American. I don't know how true that is. I guess I should probably spend a moment or two to try to see what it is. But yeah, I think we've kind of seen a pattern of that when non-Black Americans get into office and, they say, hey, we're representing Black, like the Black Caucus. It's like, okay, that's great. But are you representing Black America? Because it sounds like you're trying to speak for Black America, but you're not doing for Black America too. Because I think people get it confused when they say, we want you to only do for Black Americans. No, we're not saying that. We're saying two. TOO, right? Add the two on. But Black Americans get left off altogether of the getting, right? Christopher says we need a black hate crime bill. At least we need political protection for the federal government. He says we pay taxes to be protected at the very least. I totally agree with you, but we need to let them know that in no uncertain terms. We need a hate crime bill. The Asians got one, and again, I know they say it's for you too, but it's not for us too. Okay, we want one all by our black, beautiful American selves that speak to us. That's what we want. They could do it. They wanted to. They just don't want to. Because something tells me they're not really interested in protecting us. But we have to, keep that in mind when we vote. Daniel, how you doing? Says rather have immigrants than white supremacists. I don't have a problem with immigrants, believe it or not. I think the issue is we keep on leaving off is illegal immigration. I don't have a problem with immigrants at all. Not one. There's immigrants all over the world, believe it or not. Just like somebody said, there's black Americans leaving to go to other countries. Aren't they immigrants? I'm sure they're there legally, so I don't have a problem with immigrants, legal immigration. I think most people, they should anyway, with illegal immigration, because a lot of times they come over here and get what you can't get. And they ain't even supposed to be here. So yeah, y'all's daughter, how you doing? It says exactly why my back hurts. Why your back hurting? I know I'm so behind, so forgive me. Kendall, how you doing? It says Karen Bass isn't black. She's another Kamala. She doesn't give about the black community. It's all identity politics, and everything she does is for illegal benefits. I totally agree with you. I'm not sure of her ethnicity per se, but yeah, I agree with you. She goes hard for illegal immigration. So yeah, but I'm sure a lot of black people voted her in. Kit, how you doing? Says damn that clown sister. And let's see who else. Oh, I got to the bottom. Yay. King Charles, how you doing? Says I'd rather have a Republican than a Democrat. I'm tired of being lied and tricked. Well, I mean, and whatever you rather have, that's on you. There's nowhere, and I think so, or maybe it's somewhere like secretly written that you as a black man in America have to vote for the Democrats. There's nowhere that says that you have to do that. Now, I know some of these shills and different people, say, how dare you? You're black. You're supposed to vote for the Democrats. You don't have to do that. I know there's a lot of people last year that didn't get to enjoy the family Thanksgiving meal because they didn't vote for the Democrats. They voted for the couch or Trump or whatever it is. I know there's a lot of black people that have been excommunicated from the family, but guess what? They'll be all right. But you can vote your better interest. If a Republican is going to suit you better as a black American, then you do that. When you go into the voting booth, you do that by yourself. Now, I know last time around in 2016 and Trump and Melania went, he was looking over to make sure Melania, I guess, was voting for her husband, which is weird. It's like, did you have any doubt? I don't know. But you go into the booth by yourself. You vote for what is interesting and what would serve you. Dr. Claude Anderson talked about this, and he still does, that we are the only group of people, Black Americans specifically, that vote as a group against our better interests. We vote for everybody else's. We won't just stop even for a moment and say, why should I do that? What's in it for me to do? We won't do that. We just run up in there. Oh, I'm doing it because James Clyburn, which I don't know, is he not running anymore? It sounds like maybe he's gonna, I was gonna say give up the ghost, but maybe he's not gonna run. But we get some fish. Get a fish fry, and all the other stuff. But we don't ask, like, no, for real, what do I really get to go and vote for the Democrats? What's in it for me to do that? Am I gonna get a hate crime bill as a Black American? How about little reparations? What? Anybody interested in making sure that the original sin of America, the slavery, is atoned for via checks and some land? Is anybody interested in that? Because that's what my people Black Americans are interested in. Right? So if you do not see anybody like that on a ballot anywhere, it's your right to say, well, I'm going to vote for something else. See, we got to get out of that whole shaming Black people. Oh, you Black. How could you not? How could you vote for that? How could I not? Because when something is for you, and this is just thinking, when something is for you, that means that they are pro. Pro means, okay, I'm for you, not against. But when we think about the Democratic Party, especially in relation to Black people, we say we're for the Democrats, but are the Democrats really for us? How could you be for something or somebody when you go do it for everybody else? So it's not that you can't do it for Black Americans, it's that you won't do it for Black Americans, and you know Black Americans won't force you to do it. Yeah, we'll get mad. We'll sit down, I'm resting. But when they put that bat signal out again, hey, Black Americans, come on, there's an election going, we go to the tune of 91% to help everybody else. So when we stop and think, just stop. You know, like when they say, oh, the fire happened, they don't say run around like a chicken with your head cut off. They say what? Stop. We're going to hurt this. Drop and roll. All right. Now, when it comes to voting or anything else that because like this is a major decision you're partaking in. When a lot of us don't take it seriously, just stop. Think. Do a little research. Then make an informed decision. Voting should be an informed decision. Informed means I'm here with it. I'm not here with it. It just feels good. Did you see Megan Thee Stallion? Oh, she was twerking some. Oh, this feels good. We're bringing the joy back, because that was Kamala's campaign slogan. I'm telling you, I'm reading her book, and they in a sense thought about that. As you know, let's bring the joy back. So yeah, joy feels good. But is joy going to give us anything? No. Give me something with my joy, something I could put in the bank. Or as a Black American, when I go out and about, I ain't got to be looking to the left or the right thinking that the racist police is going to do something to me simply because I'm Black. So like, give me something along with that joy. You know, they say, give me some steak with my beans and rice. Beans and rice is cool, but I'm going to get tired of that after a while. So, yeah, we got to think about the things that we're doing when we go vote. I'm just saying. Let's see. Who else haven't I seen? Let's see. Extreme says Karen Bass was on. Yeah, she was a CBC. She was in Washington for a very long time. And then guess she wanted to go to California. Now, I honestly didn't believe that she would be successful in a mayoral race, but she was. And then was it Barbara Lee? Is that who it is? I think it's in Oakland now. She was in Congress too. Now she's the mayor. Kit says cash reparations for FBA or no vote. Yeah, it's come down to that, but we've been told to do that anyway. And we've also been told, along with looking for tangibles, expecting them, whatever we should be doing for self. No voting does not mean don't do nothing. And I think that's kind of where we're getting the wires crossed as well. Okay, great. I'm not voting unless I get something. Cool, I'm with it. I'm with it. But while we're waiting, what are we doing? Are we talking about group economics? Are we talking about buying back the block? Are we talking about building businesses, owning and operating them? Are we talking about getting the African Diaspora News Channel app from your Play Store, Black owned, for us? Like, what are we doing? Are we having those conversations, or are we just waiting? You know, a lot of y'all go to church. You know, the Bible says faith without the works is dead. You know, say just have faith, sit down, watch all your favorite television shows on Netflix and just keep waiting. The other part of that is works. So while we're waiting and we're abstaining from voting until we get something, we're supposed to be working on our community. We're supposed to be having conversations and figuring out how do we build, how do we not give $2 trillion away to everybody else and not keep it? right? 97% of almost $2 trillion, we give that away. Are we having those conversations? Or are we just saying, I'm not saying this about you, Kit, but I'm just saying in general, are we saying, okay, now that we're waiting, we're not voting right now until we get something. Are we talking about how we keep more of our money in our community? And then when we keep it, how do we, own and operate our business? Are we talking about that? Are we talking about how to save the Black family? How to get the Black family back intact? Are we talking about these things? Because that's what we're supposed to be doing. And voting is like, oh, okay, I'll vote. But I think too, I know there's some other communities, but I think our community is probably one of the only communities is like, we gonna vote our way out of this. Are we? Y'all think Madam C.J. Walker was waiting to vote her way out of something? I pointed to that because that was her estate. She was the daughter of a slave. You think she was like, I'm gonna go to the polls? I don't know who, Coolidge or somebody might have been in office then. I don't know. But you think she was like, I'm gonna go vote my way out of this, or washing white people's drawers? She was like, I'm gonna do for self. And when I do for self, I'm gonna help my other people. I'm gonna bring thousands of people along with me. See, those are the conversations we're supposed to be having. Voting is nice. The Asians, they vote. But they're like, hey, we wash, rinse, repeat. We keep most of our money in our community. We got our own everything like we used to do back in Black Wall Street and all the other towns. And we had our own stuff. And we know what happened with that. But all the other communities, like we got our own stuff. We'll vote. But if we never voted again, we still going to have our own stuff because we got the sense enough to keep our money in our community, keep it with our people. Black communities are one of the only communities that are told, shop Black. Make sure you shop Black today. Like I shouldn't even have to tell us to get an app, African Diaspora News Channel app. I shouldn't even have to have that conversation. That should just be like, bet. Let me go get it. Because you got Netflix, you got Hulu, and some people say, don't shame us. No, I'm going to shame us today. You got Netflix, you got Hulu, you got all the Amazon, you got all these things that belong to white folks. How many things do you got that belong to Black people? How many of us can say that there's a Black app that's owned by us, operated by us, and I have that? How many of us can really say that? It should be more of us to say, I got the Black app than I got Amazon or Netflix or any of that other stuff. It's just food for thought. This shouldn't even be a conversation. But you know what we do? Well, why? I don't understand it. You know what this and then how much and who I mean, got. Netflix didn't have to do none of that. Netflix every 3 months will say, I know you were used to paying $10, but guess what? You about to get used to paying $15. It'll be a little grumbling, but you ain't gonna cancel your Netflix. It doesn't even cross your mind. You might say, well, I might the next time you do it. You ain't gonna cancel it. I don't know. Tyrone, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. I will keep on trucking. Nilo Tick, I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says you are the only Black woman with real hair. Nah, that's not true. There's a lot of Black women with real hair and real nails. The problem is, and I say this a lot, we just spend too much more time. And there ain't nothing wrong with this. Somebody, I'm not a wig shamer, please. I don't want to, I know better, okay? There's nothing wrong with that. But the problem is we talk more about those women. And again, they want to do that. Do your thing, boo-boo, do your thing. But we talk more about them than we talk about the Black women who have their natural hair. And I'm not doing this. I'm not shaming anybody at all. But there's a lot of natural Black women. Believe it or not, there's a lot. Is it sometimes a little bit more difficult to do natural hair than to have a wig? Yeah. Man, if I throw some wigs on, life would be so much easier. But I'm willing to sacrifice because I like the natural look personally, so yeah. But I got you. Glamp Tribe, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. Let's see. Hey, Mad Dog, hope you're doing well this fine afternoon. LG, what's going on with you? Says, can't hold joy in my hands. You can't do it. You can hold it in your heart, and it's nice, but you need some money in your hand. Tim, how you doing? Daniel, you says, what? Says, I've been twerking. That's what I've been doing. I've been twerking. Oh. And that is your business. You want to twerk something? You twerk something. Cam Ryder, how you doing? Says, I'm surprised that they got voted out. The black folks came out of the woodworks for that vote. And I'm sorry, I don't know which vote that is, but my apologies. Edward, how you doing? Christian, what's going on? Says, let's not forget the 40 billion Argentina got from Trump. Yeah, Trump is like, who gonna check me? What y'all gonna do? MAGA. Any of y'all, what y'all gonna do? I'll give out 40 billion more dollars, and what you gonna do? Besides be on Twitter, what you gonna do? That's Trump's attitude. What you gonna do? Y'all wanted this, you know? Now you might not have wanted me to give $40 billion to Argentina, but guess what? Not only are you getting $40 billion, we're gonna buy their steaks. It's like a big screw you to the cattle ranchers here. They like, what about our beef? Trump's like, what about your beef? You got beef? What you gonna do? I don't know. Y'all know I'm a little off. I just be thinking of scenarios in my head, and that's how I imagine it, how it's going down. Like Trump was like, who's gonna check me, boo? You gonna buy the steak, and you're gonna enjoy the steak, okay? Somebody say he gonna be putting ketchup on his Argentina steak. That's crazy. I'm designer 23. I hope I said that right. How you doing? Says, hey, what happened to boycotting? Getting them on Wall Street hurt their pockets. Also, didn't they try to do us? He says, just because they gave people food stamps, that don't mean we all good now. We need to continue in your comment cut off. But yeah, I'm good with a boycott. I'm down for that. It just needs to benefit us. Right now, benefiting also, boycotting also means that we are boycotting because we are not necessarily trying to abstain from the system. That's not the only thing. We're trying to pull that money back into our community. That's what boycotting means. It's not necessarily because we mad. We boycotting because we want to build our community up. Everybody else got enough of our money. They don't need another dime of our money. If they never got another dime of our money, they'll have too much. See, I'm down with boycotting because we're trying to help our people, right? Because we're always boycotting because we're mad. You'll be unmad one day and somebody will sell you joy. And then where's your reason to boycott? So your reason should be sustainable. It should be everlasting. And I'm boycotting for my people. So we can build hospitals, schools, and all that stuff that's what the boycott should really be about. SJM, how you doing? Says, hot boy Turk. She, her love life. How you doing? Says, thanks, sis. I appreciate your YouTube page. I have noticed you try to help all Black nation. Hey, you can only try. I'll focus on my Black Americans, but I respect the human race. I always say I'm Black American first, because right? Nationally, I'm Black Americans first. I want to say this, be careful when I say this. I'm Black American first, but I'm not with the vitriol necessarily against everybody else. It's the vitriol deserved. Yeah. But I just kind of find that it doesn't make me feel good. It's kind of, sometimes it can be toxic, because I feel like the best way to be for yourself is to actually be for yourself. I don't need to focus on those people. Best way for me to be for my people is to be for my people. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about how they just say that, they just say that. I'd rather spend that time talking about what we as Black Americans need to be doing, because that's where the traction is. Hey, let's get together, do this, practice group economics, and blah, 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 blah. That's where it is. Not those people, not saying nothing about nobody else. I'm just saying about me. So if it comes off that way, it's probably because I don't spend a lot of time talking, whether it's good or bad, about everybody else. I'd rather spend that time talking about us. And I'm just, certain things I'm just not going to do, right? I like to keep it here. As I say, I like to vibrate higher. I like to elevate on a higher level. And some things that I see, it doesn't allow me personally to vibrate on a higher level. So I try to keep it there. Does it make sense? But I love and appreciate you for going to my channel and being here. It's all love at the end of the day. I don't care if you agree with me, you disagree with me. It's always going to be love. Because hating you for whatever it is, the reason that I'm not trying to, spend too much energy on hate. I'd rather spend it on love. And I don't expect everybody to agree with me. And it'd be a very boring conversation if we all agree with each other. But we should be on the same page, though, right? At least in the same book. Mad Dog says they got everything but a Black something. Yep. Abolia, how you doing? Say true. Christian says them prices keep going up. You talking about Netflix? Yeah, ain't nobody complaining. Ain't nobody complaining at all. But if I say, hey, get the African Diaspora News Channel app on your local Play Store, somebody gonna say, you need to ask yourself why. Why do you have a problem with that? Because I'm like, if you don't support Black anything, or you grumble at supporting your own, be quiet. Respectfully. Because then you're just pretending. You're just pretending to care about Blackness. I always say you got to be more than just be Black, right? We're Black. Now what? What separates us as Black Americans from everybody else? And I'm saying in the sense of, all right, I'm Black and I'm proud. All right, what you doing with that Black proudness? You building the Black community? Are you uplifting the Black community? What are you doing with your Blackness? Just Black. Okay. My chair is Black. It was brown, but you get the point. The street is Black. A crayon is Black. My hair used to be Black. But what is it doing while it's Black? I think it should be doing something for Black. I don't know. Justin, how you doing? Says, I'm looking for long-term things, car lots, grocery stores. I get joy from taking care of my family, and I need bread for that. Come on now. You better tell them again. Let's see. Who else have I seen? So I've seen everybody. And yes, Mike say word up Wednesday. I'll be there today on Wednesday. Yesterday I wasn't there because, I got thrown off. You know how the old people say, you throw it off. I was thrown off yesterday. I got behind, but I will be on my show today, 5 p.m. Central Time. Not Zenobia. I am designer. He says, I was just saying it don't make sense because they don't care about us. Yeah, we know they don't care about us, but do we care about us? I'm never going to expect anybody to care about me more than I care about myself. I'm not going to get mad at my neighbor for not caring about me. I'm not going to get mad at my neighbor for not caring about my lawn when I don't care about my lawn. We got to care about each other first. I don't care. Honestly, I don't care that you don't care about me. I care about me. When you care about you, that's all that matters. But I know one thing's for sure. Is when you care about you and you love you, it makes it easier to love everybody else. But you can't do that unless you love yourself. Because if you ever see the way a person operates that does not love themselves, they are horrible with other people. They gossip, they plot, they're very malicious. They are nasty people. It's because they are nasty inside. They don't treat themselves well, so they treat everybody else horrible. It's projection. They don't feel good about themselves. They don't self-care and all that, so they take it out on everybody else. But you see a person who takes care of themselves, who cares about themselves, they move a lot differently in this world. Get around those people. Right? So caring about whether they care about us, that seems like that's time we could be taking to think about us. We never expect I don't expect for anybody else to treat us better than we treat ourselves. And I think that's kind of where the conversation has kind of gotten off track, is because we collectively have been begging everybody else to care about me. Y'all remember when Angela Rye was on CNN and she was talking to that, I don't know who he is, some white guy, and he said something about race, and she said, oh, we just want you to understand. I was like, well, this is embarrassing. You're literally on national TV crying because white folks don't care about Black people. Where is the surprise in that? See, if you cared about yourself, you would never. There'd be a million things you'd rather do than to get on the news and cry that white people don't understand and they just don't treat you right. My goodness. Anyway, I love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will be here tomorrow. Scoop, how you doing? Renz, what's going on with you? Who do you something? Your name is long. But how you doing? Says the new immigrants are a problem. The ones have been here 2 decades, got used to quality. This new crop are green. Well, they got used to getting all theirs to get because we've been helping them get it. Another conversation. Anyway, love and appreciate every last one of y'all. I will see y'all tomorrow. Same time. I don't know what we'll talk about, but it will be interesting. So please come back here 11 a.m. Central Time. And again, get the app. We made it just for you. Peace.